listening to Opening the Harp Chakra, the podcast, bringing you beautiful, healing, magical harp music and talking to the artists that create it. I am your host, Jay Michaels. Today's guest, an Emmy-nominated musician, singer-songwriter, a harpist. She has 4 solo albums, a few collaboration CDs as well. She certainly produces music that is healing, magical, and very beautiful. Jenna Greene. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on the show today.
I'm happy to have you. I know we've known each other for probably 20 years, but we hardly ever get to just sit down and chat.
Right. We're always working.
Right. So this is our opportunity.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thank you so much. So let's start back at the beginning. When did you first start playing the harp? How did that happen? Why did you?
So that's actually a very funny story. I've been singing my whole life, and there were a couple of vocal teachers I had over the years that I expressed my interest in learning to play harp to. And they said, I just want you to know, just to be honest with you, harp is one of the hardest instruments to learn. And so I put it aside and I tried taking up some other instruments, and I played guitar very badly. I took fiddle lessons and I could make your ears bleed. I was so bad. And so I just put instruments aside altogether. And then in 2010, I was getting ready to do my first tour. And all the musicians who had been on my album, my first album, were these beautiful, wonderful Irish musicians from the Rhode Island area. And in Rhode Island, in order to make it as a musician, most musicians were not only music teachers, but also a part of 3 or 4 bands. So it was very hard to get the people who were on my album to tour with me. And so what I did was I went out onto the road with background tracks from my first album. And even though everything went well, I remember being at a festival, and the festival coordinator started calling it karaoke and kind of teasing me about it. And it really hit me in the heart. And then I kind of went back and thought about how harp had always called to me, and I was going to go for it. I was going to try it. And so I went over to the Harp Connection in Salem, and I sat down and I listened to another harpist play some music, and I kind of got a feel for what the different woods sounded like and what the different harp makers sounded like. I was gung-ho that I was going to go in there and I was going to get Lyon and Healy, because I absolutely love the music of Lorena McKennitt, and she's a Lyon and Healy player.
Right.
But it ended up being that I fell in love with a Dusty Strings, because the Lyon and Healy, they have a more somber tone to them, which works perfectly for Lorena McKennitt's music, where she's singing a lot of really sad Irish legends. But for my music that has a more happy tone, where I'm singing about affirmations and positive psychology and kind of the empowerment part of mythology, that somber tone didn't work for me. I needed something more bright. And so Dusty Strings, and then the maple Dusty Strings, really worked for me because it had a brighter sound. So I was sitting down and I was playing. That day I really bonded with this instrument, and I could already feel that I was going to be able to at least pick up chords easily enough to accompany myself. And so that's how my harp journey started. It's been 10 years, and I'm still mostly an accompanist. I will do instrumentals, and I have done instrumentals, and I have done weddings where I just don't sing. But I'm much more comfortable as an accompanist to my own voice, and then putting in the little instrumentals in the breaks and the intros and stuff like that.
Excellent. Well, let's listen to some of your music now. We have a piece called Land of the She. Can you tell us a little bit about this piece?
Sure. I love Celtic mythology. I love mythology of all kinds. And I grew up in Abington, Massachusetts, which is part of the legendary Bridgewater Triangle, where supposedly a lot of mystical and mysterious things have happened, going all the way back to the tribes that once lived there, and just lots and lots of legends. And that when I found that out, it it totally made sense to me because I always felt a very mystical, magical tie to the land that I grew up on. And I always felt that there were land spirits there. And so I've always had a connection to fairies and to mythology and to working with and honoring the land. And so I had written this poem, and the poem was about fairies. It was Land of the Sea. And then I found an old Irish tune called Be Thou My Vision. And I kind of set that to the poem. And then I created the chorus melody myself. So it's kind of a melding of my own work and traditional melody for this song.
Down a secret stairway to an ancient wall, where silver trees sing in songs of old. By moonlit flower runs spiraling stone and starlit splendor, away it is shown. We'll float through the night on moonlight clear, sail far away from here. 'Tis not far off, though many can see the mystical door to the land of the sheep. It lies right before you. Take my hand, I'll lead you into shining lands. I'll tell the fairy secrets on this misty night. All magic is hidden within plain sight. We'll float through the night on moonlight clear, sail far away from here. 'Tis not far off, though many can see the mystical door to the land of the sheep.
Well, that's from a CD called Wild Earth Child, Land of the She from Jenna Greene. So, Jenna, you're presenting musical rituals and guided meditations now. How's that going?
That's going great. I needed something to be able to present online now that all of our gigs are canceled from the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I had always wanted to present a show that was not just a concert, but a spiritual journey. And so these musical rituals actually started to come to me in dreams. I've written 3 of them now, and most of the material was dreamt. And so there's 3 different themes that I've written so far. And one is a musical ritual to empower dreamers. So you start at this guided meditation that goes deep into your subconscious, and you're standing at a crossroads, and Hecate, the great Greek goddess, who is of inspiration and dreams and making decisions and helping to light your way, she starts your journey, and then you go into several other mystical realms. With each realm, there's an original song that I've created specifically for that part of the journey, and the guided meditation is all my own words, my own creation as well. And so to be able to take people through my music and give it more depth and more meaning, more personal meaning for each person. So it's kind of like I took this guided meditation and I set it and made it a musical, but the musical is of your own life, because it's what you bring to it and how that music might resonate for you in this specific point in your life, and how are you following your dreams, and what's blocking you, and how can you become unblocked by that.
Great. Well, let's play some more music. This is from the album Wings, and I know you helped me with the pronunciation before we started recording this, but I'm going to ask you to introduce the song and pronounce it correctly, because I've already forgotten what you told me.
So this one is Himina Morvina, which is an old Scottish song. And Himina Morvina is I see the lofty mountains. And the idea is that if you're on a boat traveling from America and you're going back home, when you see the lofty mountains, you know that you're almost home if you're from Scotland. And so the idea is about coming home to everyone and everything that you love. And so I took the song, the original melody and the chorus, and then I created my own lyrics and made it more of a fairy song and more a song about freedom, and not just home being a physical place, but home being other people that you love, home being doing the things that you love, and kind of reuniting with all of that magic.
Lost and alone, all on my own, to find my way to the light of a new day. On winds I am tossed, but all is not lost. I will find my way home, searching for meaning, doubting, dreaming through the night, a light beaming to guide me on. Help me be strong enough to find my way home. Tears are falling. show to me all I envisioned beyond fears that once imprisoned. I have found my way home to the mist-covered mountains of
So that is Himina Morvina. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Excellent. From Jenna Greene. Thank you so much. Jenna Greene's our guest today, and you've got a Patreon project going on. Can you tell us about that?
I do. I'm so excited to have this platform. It's so wonderful for any independent artist out there like me. So I am basically building my own little community, and it's www.patreon.com/Jenna Greene with an E at the end. And so it's a platform where people can go and they can learn about the latest projects that I'm doing, and it's a little pledge system. So if you pledge $5 or more, there are different tiers that you can connect with, and I will send to you each month, or even more often than each month. I've been sending out songs that I'm working on, new lyrics that I'm working on. I also do mythic art, so I'll send out art that I've just created. So anybody who is a patron of mine who's giving $5 or more, they're getting this content before it ever goes out into the public. So they're getting to hear new songs, maybe songs that I don't ever put on an album, they get to hear. So they're really getting to experience my whole library and the latest projects that I'm doing. I also give discounts to my patrons. So if I'm doing a workshop, a presentation, an online concert, an in-person concert eventually, and if I have new products come out, they're the first ones to get it, and they also get it at the discount.
Excellent. Well, we have another song to play from the Wings album. This is Morrigan.
Correct.
Can you tell us the story behind this song?
Sure. So Morrigan is the warrior goddess. And a few years back, there was a retreat that started called the Morrigan's Call in Connecticut. And it's, I believe, the first weekend of every June. I've done it for 2 years. They may be going into their 6th year now, and I will be back next year. And I was going through a tumultuous time in my life, and I'm such a positive psychology person. I love affirmations. I love the works of Louise Hay. So I was going through this really hard time, and I was just saying, okay, I'm going to just say my positive affirmations and my gratitudes every day, and I'm going to sprinkle fairy dust on it, and it's all going to be okay. And so, of course, that wasn't working for me, because what I learned at the Morrigan retreat is shadow work, is that you've really got to feel it to heal it. And so at the Morrigan retreat, I was introduced through these very intense and beautiful rituals. The goddess, the Morrigan, she is a triple goddess, but she's the goddess of transformation. So instead of, in the Celtic tradition, there's Maiden Mother Crone, usually as a triple goddess, but with the Morrigan, who is also a Celtic tradition, it's her first aspect is that shake you, wake you up, something major goes on in your life. And then the second aspect of her is the working through it, the warrior goddess, the moving through it instead of trying to skirt around the problem. And then the last aspect of her is the nurturing and the peace and the joy that's at the other side of that transformation. So the whole mythology of her is just so beautiful and so deep, and it was life-changing for me. And so the song really expresses that transformation that I went through in exploring those deeper, darker parts of me, those more difficult emotions, the fears, and the things that block you, and the negative patterns, and how to navigate those rather than ignore them.
Battles won, but not the war. Grant me wisdom, grant me faith, to take me to that peaceful, sacred place. Lend me your raven wings and your battle song to sing, so I may fly high above this storm to a place that's safe and warm. down transformations road. Don't leave me all alone to do this on my own, or again guide me home, or again guide me home. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe and listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe and listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe and listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. One step at a time, quieting my mind, remembering to breathe, listen to the voices deep in me. And I was gone down transformations road. Don't leave me all alone. Remind me I am strong, or again guide me home. Or again guide me
The music of Jenna Greene today. Jenna, your website is greenladymusic.com. To me, that conjures images of nature, perhaps natural magic, fairies, elves. Can you tell us about your connection to nature and magic and how that influences your music?
Absolutely. Well, as I expressed earlier, just growing up around woods and ponds and the beauty of nature and being outside, playing as a child and making all those connections, and also those mythological and mystical connections, that always stayed with me, and it became a very deep part of my spirituality. And so Green is not my maiden name, that was my married name, but I ended up keeping it because it just perfectly embodied what I was trying to express through my music. The Green Lady she's Mother Earth, but she's also a fairy in a lot of mythologies. And I just love that whole idea of she's the embodiment of nurturing and abundance and finding the magic within, just all of those themes that I love to have running through my music.
Well, we have one more example of your music to share. This one, I love this. It's so awesome. It's called Woodland Alchemy, and this is the one that you got the Emmy nomination for, right?
Yes, that was a very exciting project to be a part of. I got to create the soundtrack as well as be in the movie. It was a very short film, but just beautiful and mystical. It was deep in the woods, and it was all about the various forms of ritual. So one part of the movie was about light work and working with positivity and joy and healing. And then the second part was about shadow work, which is facing your fears and breaking negative patterns and feeling those uncomfortable emotions in order to work through them. And then the third part of the movie was about balance, doing ritual as balance. And so each of my songs that I created along with Robert McClung of Tellergy, who's of Southern New Hampshire, we worked together to really create soundscapes for each of these rituals. And so that was really fun to be a part of, but also difficult in a way because I had to work outside of my own comfort zone. Because the first one, light work, that was pretty and harmonious and beautiful. The second one, shadow work, it had to be kind of pushed off key and feel uncomfortable, and you're working through darker things. So the song had to reflect that. And then balance became, the third one became a push and pull between those. So it became like a waltz that would go in time and then out of time, and in key and then out of key. And so it was really hard for me to create mystical songs that weren't pretty on purpose. So that was a real challenge for me. But doing that and stepping that far out of my comfort zone created such a magic that really inspired my writing going forward.
woodland alchemy from our guest today, Jenna Greene. So Jenna, what are you working on now?
A couple of new things. The pandemic has really inspired me to continue to go out of my comfort zone and to do things that are brand new. And so I'm offering a lot online now. So through Zoom, you can meet with me one-on-one and I will help you to do something. There's a couple of things that I'm offering. One of them is song spells. So I can sit down with you and help you to write your very own empowerment chant. Another thing is serenades, where I will literally sing to you. I'll talk to you about what's going on in your life, what stresses you're going through, and kind of try to connect some of my music to ways to empower and heal what's going on with you. I'm also a Reiki master, so it's kind of a Reiki zap through empowering music. So that's called serenades. I'm also doing the musical rituals that I had mentioned earlier today. I'm doing those one-on-one. So you can do a musical guided journey with me if you wanted to. And I'm also doing concerts for families, friends, groups online if anybody wanted to hire me for that. You can find all that information through my website. And then the other thing that I'm working on is an album called Deeper Waters. And the whole album now is about going out of my comfort zone, just like I was talking about with the Emmys. Now that I've kind of experienced that and kind of pushing my own depths, I've started creating songs that have to do with shadow work and also the mystical aspects of water.
Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful phone call. I've enjoyed catching up with you and talking about all your projects and listening to your wonderful music. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Jay. It's been a joy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And of course, as I mentioned before, we will include links to your Patreon, to your website, and other links in the show notes so people can get in touch with you and find out more about what you do and how you can help them out as well. If you have questions or guest suggestions, please feel free to email me, openingtheharpchakra@yahoo.com. Also, we have links to PayPal and Venmo if you'd like to contribute to the production of this podcast. Please subscribe, please share, please tell your friends. In the coming months, more beautiful harp music from around the world. I'm Jay Michaels. Thank you so much for being here. Peace. Namaste.